Hello, I'm Kurt Halverson with HomeTown Credit Union. Today, we're going to be talking about financial first aid, managing your money in uncertain times. The first step to take after an unexpected loss of income is to actually choose to act. And that means not ignoring things, hoping that they'll get better on their own, which can tend to be human nature, but to actually decide that you're going to be proactive, which comes through making a plan, taking action, and then reevaluating and adjusting. The first step is to discover what bills do you currently have. Gather the information on all of your bills. So you want to find out who you owe each month, how much you owe, and when the payment is due. Once you have all that information, you can then categorize that. You can separate your bills into four main categories: home expenses, which are all expenses related to staying housed. That could be rent or mortgage payments, it could be utilities, homeowners insurance, taxes, things like that. Then you have transportation. That's how do you get around? It could be bus or train fare, it could be a car payment or lease payment, it could be auto insurance, fuel, repairs, and maintenance. Then we have education, which are any expenses related to you or somebody in your household pursuing education. It could be tuition, it could be expenses for school sports, books, things like that. And then last is miscellaneous debt. That could be loans like snowmobile or camper loans, boat loans, credit cards, personal lines of credit, signature loans, things like that. All right, the next step is to use what's called a bill calendar. This particular example is created by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB, and it's available on their website, or you can email me and I'd be glad to share a copy with you. The thing I really like about using a bill calendar is that it allows you to see in writing exactly when your bills are due, how much they're due, and if you have income coming in, you can plot that out. So let's say, for example, that we get paid the first Monday of the month and the third Monday of the month. We know that any bills that come due between this date and this third Sunday, we need to pay with the first check, and the bills that come due between the third Monday and the Sunday, the first one in the next month, need to be paid with this check. By plotting out what bills you have due and how much you owe, you can see if you've got money left over or not. And if you come up short, that can prompt you to make a plan for that particular bill. That plan might be calling that company for making payment arrangements. It might be paying half now and half later. It could be looking at other alternatives, but at least you're aware of it and that you don't get caught off guard. Sometimes you do have to make those tough choices. What if not all bills can be paid in a pay period or in a month? The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has this to say: if you can't pay all of your bills at once, think about the order you pay them in. Weigh the risks of falling behind on one or more bill. While not ideal, this may prevent you from losing your car or house, having utilities shut off, or getting to serious default on a loan. What they're saying here is when we categorized all of our bills into housing, transportation, education, and miscellaneous debt, now you can say, okay, if I don't have enough money to go around, what is my absolute top priority that I want to make sure I get that paid every month so I can maintain that? For a lot of people, it's housing. They say, okay, with what money I do have coming in, I'm going to make sure all my expenses are paid for housing so that I can maintain that. If I've got money left over, maybe my second priority is transportation. I'm going to pay all of those expenses or what I can afford to. If I've got money left over from that, I can look into the third and fourth priorities and then pay those items. It's not that you don't want to pay everything, but when you have limited resources, sometimes you have to make those tough decisions. Sometimes people will do a strategy if they pay a little bit to everybody, but unfortunately, this still makes you delinquent on a lot of your bills, and you're still at risk of losing your place to live, losing your transportation, losing utilities, insurance, and other things. Even though you're paying a little bit, those creditors often want to have that full payment. The next step is to reach out to those creditors. So when you collected all of your bills, what you'll want to do is call each and every one of them. This can be a tough phone call to make, but it's a very important one to do. Explain your situation. Say, hey, I've had an unexpected loss of income. How can you help me out? A lot of times they do have programs available where they might be able to assist you by lowering your payment, deferring payments, or other options. Call your utility company, your landlord or your mortgage servicers, credit unions and banks, credit card companies, and student loan servicers, and anyone else you can think of. Sometimes they may not have plans available, but most places do. And so it is really worth your time to make that call to see what kind of assistance they have available. Then you'll want to reevaluate and adjust. Each month, check your plan. See if things are still the same or if your situation has changed and adjust accordingly. Don't hesitate to contact creditors again to keep them updated or to ask for additional help. Oftentimes, the sooner you contact creditors and the more you stay in contact with them, the better. The last thing you want to do is to not call them and not respond to any letters or calls, because then they assume the worst and they might take action based off of that. The sooner you call, the more options they'll have available to help you out. And then lastly, create a spending plan or a budget. This is so important to be able to see exactly where your money is going and what you have coming in and what's left over. And this is something I can help you out with free of charge. So please do reach out to me if you need help with a budget or any other financial coaching topics. And the next thing I want to highlight is self-care. And when you're in a situation where you're faced with a major life change that could have caused an unexpected loss of income, you might be tempted to put all of your time and energy into managing that situation, or you may feel overwhelmed and stressed out by that situation. Those feelings are quite normal. It's important to take some time out of every day, if you can, even 15 minutes, to do something just for you. And that could be going for a walk or a bike ride. It could be reading a book. It could be knitting. Something that doesn't have to cost a lot, but also something that is not screen time. So don't be looking at a mobile device or television. Give your mind a break and do something different that's active or creative. And you'll be amazed at how much of a difference that can make in managing your stress and helping you be the best you can be while you work through this situation. It can feel very overwhelming, but remember that every journey begins with a single step, and by choosing to take action, you are taking that first step. Do reach out to me if you have any questions or need any help. You can reach me direct at 507-455-6726 or by emailing me at khalverson@hometowncu.coop. Thank you very much.